Hey everyone, it's Pam. Thanks for joining me today. You do not want to miss. I am going to be taking you on a phenomenal tour of not just south side of Charlottesville, because quite honestly, when you say south side, that's a huge area and it doesn't give you a good idea. Where we're actually concentrating on today are the phenomenal neighborhoods of Avon Street Extended. So where are we? What are we doing? Well, as I was mentioning, we're on the south side of Charlottesville, about a mile outside of the physical city limits. But when you see everything, all the neighborhoods, all the amenities, and the shopping and schlep factor, mwah! Oh, and did I mention we're talking about the schools and everything else that goes along? Who lives here? Who wants to live here? Why you shouldn't live in here. So anyways, stay tuned because I'm going to pick up a dear friend of mine who is also a realtor, and I've worked with him for 10 years. We actually take care of each other's clients all the time, and if I were to have to find a realtor, I would actually call him in a heartbeat. So stay tuned. I'm going to go pick up my friend, and we're going to tour the Avon Street Extended shopping centers and neighborhoods. Come on, let's go. Okay, so I'm here in EVERYTHING neighborhood, and I am picking up my fabulous friend, Paul.
Hello.
So Paul is actually going to take us around because he is like the king of this area, and he knows the ins and outs, the intricacies, because quite honestly, he lives here, and he has for 10 years. So he knows what it's like to be part of the community and just what is involved and where it's involved. So we're going to start off with walking around EVERYTHING. So you want to show us, Paul?
Hello. So, all right. So one of the things about EVERYTHING itself is EVERYTHING is a community made up of townhouses and villas. What you'll see from an amenity standpoint, well, one that is, nature created is a beautiful view of Carter's Mountain. We've also have a clubhouse, a playground, a dog park, which is one of the biggest draws of the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Plus a full gym. So not just a little fitness room, a full
really?
gym.
When did that go in?
That went in about 4 years ago when they did the second phase.
Oh, okay, cool. So what else?
So one of the things,
I think this is pretty.
Yeah, one of the things that's most unique about EVERYTHING, and this is actually really common with all the neighborhoods on the south side, is there's a very good community. We have food trucks every Thursday during the spring and fall.
Yes. I've actually been to some of your food trucks.
I would say Halloween is probably the best day in EVERYTHING. We'll get 200, 300 kids here.
Holy
There's
moly.
both little kid trick-or-treating and adult trick-or-treating. So there's pretty much a pub crawl after after that's over. Price ranges in here are somewhere in the ballpark of high 400s, 475-ish. And it goes up from there. I think the most expensive that is sold in here has been about $615.
Okay.
But
so what was that?
That was our largest villa with a basement, which is pretty seldom, pretty scarce.
Oh, okay.
So I would say the highest like traditional or common house in here is probably going to be mid fives up to 575.
Oh, God, that's really doable.
Very much.
There's a lot of pups around here too.
Oh yeah, very dog-friendly community. The dog park is a big draw.
Yeah.
We get to Spring Hill Village. They have a much smaller dog park.
Okay.
But
yeah, because that one goes way down.
We by far have the biggest one in our area, and I think the nicest. And then
but you're not biased at all.
No, not even a little bit.
So these are some of the villas.
So yeah, so
those are really cute.
Your biggest difference between a townhouse and a villa. So they're both attached products, but a villa has a first floor master, first floor garage.
Okay.
And then you got 2 bedrooms and a loft upstairs. While the townhouses are 3 to 4 stories.
Okay.
So if you're looking for if somebody's looking to try to eliminate stairs,
the
villas give you that luxury.
Nice.
Townhouses get you more square footage for the price.
Well, what about, because here's what I hear, Paul. I hear a lot of my clients who are like, I want a townhouse, but they're so dark. And especially you're stuck with all the interior ones.
So I personally live in an interior townhouse.
And you have now for
I have for 10 years.
10, yeah.
And I have never once thought that my house was dark.
Yeah, I've been in your house.
The way the newer townhouses are designed.
So, hey, Paul, what's this?
So this is an emergency access road. The county requires neighborhoods to have 2 entrances and 2 exits for emergencies.
No, I did not.
So these have what's called locking ballards. So if there's some kind of emergency and the fire trucks can't get through the main entrance, this gives an emergency. But one thing that's nice is it also gives a really nice additional like walking path that you can actually go and connect to Galaxy Farm.
Yeah, and Galaxy Farms, as y'all remember, I actually did a video for Galaxy Farms talking about, you know, because they are quite a different product, very small footprint of a neighborhood too.
Yeah, I think it's only 60 houses.
Yeah, very small, 2 different builders. So let's talk about the builders in here. I know over the years, it has been a mix of quantity and quality builders. And does that matter in the product? Because now these are all, you know, 10 years and younger.
Yeah, so phase 1, which is, if you look at a map of it, we refer to it as the horseshoe. Phase 1 was built by Craig. It started off being Piedmont, but Piedmont was bought out by Stanley Martin.
Yeah, who's a quantity builder. Yeah.
Stanley Martin, and then after phase 1, there was a break for a few years.
Yeah.
And then Craig came back and built a couple more rows up at the front of the neighborhood, and then the rest of phase 2 and what's referred to as Avinity Estates. This is the newer part of Avinity. So the newer phase was built all by Stanley Martin. So one thing that is nice about now, so there's, you've probably covered in one of your videos, the pros and cons of new construction.
Oh yes.
So
and the quantity and the quality builders. So again, that's the reason y'all need to reach out to me. Remember that.
Yep. One thing that's nice is the fact that now that they're a couple of years old, any bugs, anything like that gets worked out with the new construction can get found in a home inspection. Really lovely. So yeah,
so it sort of comes out in the wash at this point.
Yeah.
So what is this? Because I have not been in here.
So this is our gym. So we have this little outdoor area here just so that people can be outside while at the playground.
Yeah.
And then let's peek in here real quick before she starts working out.
Nope, that's fine. I was looking at the happy dog over there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Wonderful.
We won't get you.
Wonderful. Very nice. Yep. Good mix of equipment. Okay.
Yeah, so when we built this, our whole thing was to put stuff in that you can't put in your basement. So yes, there's a treadmill and stuff like that, but we also have a row machine, the squat rack, cable machine, everything that you can't really put in a home gym.
Oh, that's a great idea. That actually shows forethought. Who would have thunk? All right, well, let's head back to the car and we can see some more of the area then. So that is the Avinity Community Clubhouse.
That's the clubhouse. It's free for residents to use. You just clean up after yourself. We have community events like wine socials.
Yes, I've been to those.
And the Halloween party and quite a few other things. Plus it's great for people to use for birthday parties.
Yeah, that's what I've been to
wedding showers, graduation parties, all that.
Nice. Here's the other thing that I love that I found coming over to see you and your family here is the amount of green space. So it doesn't feel like it's so cramped. And I love y'all's feeling of community here in Avinity.
Completely. There's 2 large green spaces.
Yeah.
Behind the clubhouse, there's a big, large green space there that has a pretty mountain view.
Yeah.
And a back patio with a fire pit. That's also the hill that everybody sleds on.
Oh, okay.
When we do get
snow. When we get our 2 inches?
When we get our 2 inches of snow.
You block off the snow plows and the spreaders and utilize that 2 inches. I've been into a couple of these. I think these are really nice.
Yeah, the nicest thing about the villas is they give they're a totally different feel than the townhouses. Yeah, they
absolutely are.
And being able to give that option to where you don't have to do stairs unless you want to is a big plus.
It is.
And they give you the larger garages as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, very true, very true. Most of the garages here for the villas are 2.
Correct. The villas are all 2-car garages. About 90%, 80-90% of the townhomes are single-car garages.
So one of the things that Paul and I were just talking about was, as we're doing the drive-through of Vinity, is oftentimes you can find, well, I shouldn't say often, on occasion you can find one of these townhomes or villas available for rent. Most of the time, Paul, they run...
So your villas are going to run somewhere around $3,000 a month, plus or minus a couple hundred.
And those are for like, what, 3-4 bedrooms?
So the larger one, when you're talking about like 100, you're
wow,
talking about
big.
Yeah, you're talking about $3,100 a month. The larger villas, they rent for about $3,100 a month.
That's 20.
A little bit smaller villa, you can get a little bit off of that price. And then your townhomes range anywhere from 25 to 29, depending on the floor plan and really, in all honesty, just what specific people charge.
Yeah, gotcha. Very nice. And the HOA, what is the HOA run?
The HOA is $350 a quarter. So it's just a little over like $118 a month.
Nice.
That covers your lawn care, your trash and recycling. Let me keep going.
So you don't have to have a lawnmower.
No, yep, no mowing grass here.
Nice.
Covers it's private road, so covers the plowing and the maintaining of the streets
for
and
that
sidewalks.
2 inches, yeah.
And then obviously your clubhouse, your gym, your dog park, all that maintenance.
Okay, so now we're in Foxcroft. As you saw as we were coming in, it's sort of a shared entrance that parallels with Mill Creek, but look how pretty this is. Very quiet. You have to have intent to come back here. This is not going to be like a cut through or a throughway or anything else. Man, they are ready too. They got their pool up and running. Almost, probably.
They are. One thing that's impressive about Foxcroft is the size of the neighborhood to have a pool. As you're looking at neighborhoods, most neighborhoods who have a pool are much larger. Much larger. So this pool is always...
Well, and the HOA here is really, really very doable.
Again, for having a pool, the HOA is only $65.
I know, that's really nice.
So this has a pool, clubhouse, playground, and then there's some walking trails. And if you know the secret way, you can actually cut through Biscuit Run from here and go all the way to Wegmans.
Can you really?
Yep.
I did not know that. This is a really nice pool and clubhouse.
Another neighborhood that has a lot of community. They just had their community garage sale. I think this is probably a couple weeks ago. They always have a spring kind of kickoff bash. I guess it's more summer. They have it when the pool opens.
Yeah.
Probably if you're looking through here, so these houses were all built in the 90s.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll tell you, if you're trying to find a basement, this is not the neighborhood for you. I think in this whole neighborhood, there's only about probably somewhere around 10 houses that have a basement.
Really? Now, is there a reason? Because with some of these elevations, I would think a basement would actually be very nice.
There's a lot of rock underneath, so
because it butts up to the mountain.
As you look and drive through Foxcroft, you'll see basically of the main road. If you're on the left side of that main road, you're up on hills. You have steeper driveways usually. And the ground just wasn't suitable for basements. And if you're on the right side of that main road, it's a little flatter area, so you can have some flatter yards and nicer yards. Yeah, so they have a nice little trail that goes around. All these neighborhoods also that we're looking at, they all interconnect. So you can, in my better days when I was in a little bit better shape, like I could do I used to do a 7-mile run neighborhoods without ever really do much backtracking.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, that was my younger days.
What, last year? Whatever, dude.
here,
Well, this is also funny because this is the backside of Mill Creek.
that is.
Because you can totally tell the style of the home. Okay, so now we are in Mill Creek and the things. So Mill Creek, built in the 1990s all the way up through the early 2000s. A few one-offs after that, right, Paul?
Yeah, just
a few one-offs. But most of them are going to be very, very similar. Some of the more traditional quality builders. So again, these have held up really, really well. Both attached and detached homes are available in Mill Creek.
Yeah, you have both attached and detached. The other thing that's really nice about Mill Creek is there's a big variety of floor plans. So there's quite a few single level and really just kind of smaller, what somebody would deem as
like a footprint,
starter home or a downside home. All the way up to some larger ones with basements and everything of that nature. The other thing that really is something that people like about Mill Creek is all the trees.
Yeah,
it's designed for even the houses to blend into the trees. You'll see there's only like 5 or 6 colors of houses that are approved, just so that the houses kind of absorb into the landscape.
So right now, and in the past 6 months, all the houses that have been for sale, this is one of the affordable areas because a lot of the houses, all the houses, have been between 300 and 600,000.
Yep.
So again, like you said, depending on what and size and location and all of that.
And another big factor when it comes to price is also the updating.
Yes.
Mill Creek is in that stage of life cycle for a house that it's either just been remodeled or the next person who buys it is probably going to need to remodel it.
Yes. So again, those that are in the 300,000s, that are definitely what we would say is more affordable, but you're going to have to come in with vision and the ability and know that you're going to have to put in some equity into it.
That's true, but it's also nice to know that the neighborhood can support it.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
There's plenty of growth.
Yes, this is I've sold several in here, and like you said, it really does depend. If mostly from the ones I've sold have been if it's been updated or not. So if it's been updated, because this is also one of the areas that there's been a lot of Quest pipe and things like that.
Yeah, the Quest plumbing's there. The other thing that you also have to be a little bit careful with here is because it's in the woods and most of the houses originally were made with cedar siding.
Yes.
You also have to really check for things like wood rot, carpenter bee damage, stuff to that nature.
Woodpeckers.
Yep. So all houses you should have a home inspection, but
absolutely.
There's definitely specific stuff in a wooded area like this that you got to look for.
Yes, absolutely.
But some of the houses in here have just had some really, really good updates.
Yes, quality updates. Actual thought put into them.
And when we talk about the interconnectivity of the neighborhood, this is a little walking path that'll go to the back of Lake Renovia, which will be the next neighborhood we go to.
Oh, nice. Okay. I think I did know that, but I haven't been over on this street in a while.
Yeah, so a lot of walking, a lot of dog walking.
So this neighborhood, Mill Creek, predominantly does not have sidewalks.
No, it doesn't have sidewalks, but the traffic's not bad in here.
Right. But like Foxcroft had the paved. They weren't cement sidewalks; they were paved. So again, they meshed in. Although there's some paved
there's a couple. This is Mill Creek Road, so this is the main. Main road out.
So that's why, so that people can walk up to services.
And you'll see that same lack of sidewalks. Yeah. You'll also see that in Lake Renovia and Mill Creek South. Just because in the 90s when these were built, it wasn't a requirement. If you see the things like Avinity, Spring Hill Village, Avon Park that was built newer, sidewalks are required.
So actually, Paul, we keep talking about Southside, and I had said Southside, but very specifically, we are on the
Avon Street Extended.
So there's another whole chunk that we will be exploring at some time in the future that includes the other loop.
Yeah,
loop
so
to loop.
that's 5th Street Extended. So
There you go.
the definition that most people use for Southside is Mountain View Elementary and the Wegmans 5th Street Station. That's kind of like the center of Southside. And then 5th Street Extended and Avon Street Extended go parallel to each other, and they're connected by that 5th Street Station.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I do consider these. Sorry, Lake Renovia has been one that I've definitely sold a few. They're just a quiet, hidden area, but I think with the new construction of, and I know Infinity is not new, but it's within the last 10 years. So with the Galaxy Farms, Infinity, Spring Hill, all of those being newer construction.
Avon Park 2.
It's really seems to have come up on a lot of folks' radar. But you have these very lovely little tucked in communities that you would never even recognize off of this main road.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize it. I mean, I can get from my living room to the downtown mall in downtown Charlottesville in 10 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're out and we're walking around in Lake Renovia. See, this is why I love Paul, because Paul is always the one to call me out should I say something wrong or inappropriate. So we're in Lake Renovia, and we were just walking around and checking out the pool, tennis courts,
Basketball
play area,
court, clubhouse,
yeah,
and a lake. So
The
the
last-
lake is not for swimming. You can do some paddle boarding, I think some stuff like that, but they don't actually allow swimming in it.
One of the big things we were talking about is like, who would you find living? Because I know over in Infinity, you see a lot of folks who are coming in that have to be within 15 minutes of the hospital. And so you would get that with any of these neighborhoods, quite honestly. So you'll see a lot of medical folks or
Yeah.
folks who work with
lot.
the system.
A lot of people from the university,
A lot, okay.
a lot of people from the JAG school for the military. But with
Oh, okay.
Charlottesville being the size it is,
I know.
I mean, you can go from anywhere. But really what you're seeing a lot in the South Side are people who don't want to be in the heart of Charlottesville. They don't want to be off of 29. This is kind of a little to the side.
Yeah. And
Um,
there's a lot of affordability here.
Yeah, in Lake Renovia, one of the things that's really nice about the Lake Renovia neighborhood
Yeah.
is it has a big variety of houses. So you have everything from attached to some pretty large houses.
Yeah, yes.
Large houses with basements, large houses without basements, bigger yards. That is probably the thing that sets Lake Renovia apart from all the other neighborhoods on the Avon Street Extended side.
Well,
Is when it comes to yards.
and also that lakeside living, because
Yeah.
I know when I helped my clients sell their lakeside home, that was a big thing for this side. Now here's a perfect example of what you need to be aware of, and another reason why you need to do home inspections and everything else. Looking at the siding, you see that up there? This is going to be that lovely. You have to pay attention to, if they've been updated, if it's been transformed, if it's been updated, if the roof lives are about at maximum right now. It's just the whole thing. So home inspections are really mandatory. So sorry,
Yeah.
Paul, who else do you see living here?
So I think one thing that's interesting about Lake Renovia is I know multiple people who have actually moved into Lake Renovia and either upgraded their house and stayed in Lake Renovia.
Yeah,
They had like their first time home buyer, bought a little attached house, then they moved up to a bigger house. And I also know people who have downsized while staying in Lake Renovia. So they had the bigger house and then they went to one a little bit smaller. That's all, actually, even besides Lake Renovia, you see that a lot in the South Side in general.
yeah, I could see that. Because there's some that are McMansions and there's some that are a great 1,200 square foot.
So you'll see people, you see it in, somebody that might have started with a townhouse in Infinity and then moved to do a bigger house in either Lake Renovia, or we talk about on the 5th Street side, there's a neighborhood called Redfield, which a lot of people have kind of transitioned between. So
Yeah.
you'll see people who really, like I consider myself, I'm a Southsider that, you know, I can't foresee it, even though I've helped clients buy everywhere. Like personally, I stay on the South Side.
I know, and see, I'm that way with 29 North.
Yeah, makes complete sense.
Okay, so we are leaving Lake Renovia. I really don't want to because this is freaking beautiful and gorgeous. But we are on the next one, and Paul, where's that?
We're going to Mill Creek South. We're going to show you a little hidden gem that a lot of people don't know.
Really? Let's go. So we were just scooting out of Lake Renovia. We were just talking. This too is going to be an HOA community. It's not what I would consider an active HOA. Like a Vinity, it's going to be much more active. This is going to be a little bit more laid back. You're going to find houses everywhere from, what are you thinking, Paul? I know I just looked it up too.
You can get some of the attached houses that need to be updated, probably right at the low 4.
Yep.
And then,
actually mid-4s.
Oh, mid-4s.
Mid-4s to the 700s.
I was going to say, then some of the larger houses, especially some of the larger houses on the lake, you get those higher prices.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like living in the heart of Charlottesville. I mean, we're like 2 miles outside of the city limits, and you have all that green space and all this quiet space and everything. HOA, do you know?
We're looking at about $80 a month. So somewhere in the $240, $260 a quarter.
You got it. You got it. Okay. Okay. This is Mill Creek South. So Paul, Mill Creek South and Mill Creek sort of rainbow around Lake Renovia then.
Yeah, so Mill Creek was built first, and then after the developer and the builder basically built Mill Creek South. So they're very, very similar. Now they are 2 separate HOAs, and
yes,
they can be very sensitive if you tell somebody they live in Mill Creek and they live in Mill Creek South. They're very specific. Similar to Mill Creek, you've got it's very wooded. You do have some steep driveways on some of the hills. You do have some basements and stuff like that. There's more terrain shift, I think, in Mill Creek South.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing that is also nice to know is we've mentioned the Biscuit Run Park that's being built. There's some discussion about there being entrances to Biscuit Run Park from Mill Creek South. If there's not going to be ones officially, there are definitely going to be ones unofficially.
There you go. Cutting through the woods, just like kids. So this one, HOA runs about $125 a year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
a lot less because, again, it's not amenity rich by any means, but that's probably not why you're moving over here anyway.
Yeah, there's not a lot of common area for them to take care of. There's not buildings like Lake Renovia.
Doesn't include trash.
Foxcroft. Yep, doesn't include trash. But the other biggest factor is these are public maintained roads. So the newer neighborhoods like Avon Spring Hill Village that we're going to go to in a little bit, they're private roads, so they have to have an HOA to support a reserve for when there's time to repave those roads, plus to plow the roads and stuff of that nature.
So again, like Mill Creek, there's both attached and detached homes. These are coming up pretty frequently now, it seems, but they're not staying on the market long.
This area, especially being close to the university and with as much, the match day from the residents coming in.
Yes.
This is a really popular neighborhood.
Because proximity.
Yeah, some people especially at the hospital have to have a requirement to be able to be to the hospital within, I think, 20 minutes. So I'm going to show you, we're going to get out and walk over here because I would tell 9 out of 10 agents don't even know this exists.
I bet you're right. Let's go see it. So again, this is why it's really important to call. And if you're not working with me, then you definitely want to be working with somebody who's experienced and knowledgeable. So obviously, if you can't work with me, working with Paul is the next best thing. Paul, where are we going?
So if you talk to the majority of people and you say, oh, what does the HOA in Mill Creek South do? People are going to say there's no amenities in Mill Creek South, but this little hidden kind of gem back here, it's not the fanciest place, but it's a little playground and park that is solely for Mill Creek South. And when we talk about active communities, it's amazing what one or two people can do to change a community.
Oh, amen.
Because a lady recently moved in, and she had a fantastic real estate agent that helped her move in.
Oh, did I help her?
Nope, this one definitely was me.
Oh, I must have been out of town.
But they have, there's been her and a couple other people, there's been kind of a rebirth of the HOA in terms of community stuff. So they just had a big Easter egg hunt. They've had a couple other picnics with Kona Ice and some other events like that to bring things in, a big block party. But this is probably the most peaceful playground in all of Charlottesville.
Oh, little picnic tables. I have not been back here.
Yeah, nobody knows about this. And like I said, even maybe they want to keep it that way.
Yeah, don't share the secrets.
But it is one of those things that, like, I have, when I've had a listing in here and I've talked to people at open houses and stuff, they're always like, oh, well, we really wish there was a playground.
There's a pond trail.
There is.
And now that it's tick season, all the better.
Always a little extra.
Always extra. So Paul, if you keep going down.
It just pops out to a cul-de-sac that's around the corner.
Yeah, you can start to see some of the houses.
Yeah, they have it blocked off so you can't drive back here.
Yeah.
So most of the people who come here from the neighborhood in here, and there is, the little trail is nice, but I mean it's not like you're not gonna go see the lake at Lake Renovia by any stretch. But I do think that people get surprised by the size of Mill Creek and Mill Creek South. Both are pretty large neighborhoods. But because
you're right, they absolutely are.
Yeah, but because of the way they kept the trees when they built it, it doesn't feel like you're in some super dense neighborhood.
Well, I think these were also built in that era when Charlottesville was really starting this generous growth. And so you had the established neighborhoods, and they were trying to keep on par with those as far as established growth. And then as things have built out, obviously that whole clear cutting has come into effect.
Yeah, well, as land values, land prices have gone up, the only way that developers can really make money
it has to be done. You
have to. So yeah, so I mean it's more of a marsh pond kind of thing.
Cool.
I don't know if you want to walk down there or not.
No.
But
so yeah, the muted side colors and stuff, it's made to just blend in with everything, which is awesome. But good sized lots. Most of these are right at about a quarter or just under.
Well, so they're good sized lots. You're looking at quarter or less, but not a lot of lawn.
No, not designed for that.
You'll catch a few here or there that have some more lawn space.
Absolutely.
But this is really about kind of having where you feel almost like you have the cabin in the woods kind of thing.
With your pet turtle and
your turtle, and
your beautiful flowers and your cardinals
and your deer, and there's a couple of neighborhood bear that come in every once in a while.
Yeah.
But the communities are real active. Each one of them has like a Facebook group, and then there's an Avon Street extended Facebook group. So a lot of times, people will post when they see the bear. They didn't name him Yogi. I think they missed out on it.
All right, so Paul, where are we heading next?
So we're gonna go to one of the newer neighborhoods, not the newest, but the newer neighborhoods called Avon Park.
Oh, yes. Had many clients in there as well. All right, well, we're heading on. Come on, let's go. All right, so now we are out and about at Avon Park. This is a super sweet community. I've helped a couple of clients buy and sell in this area. Really good combination, detached and attached homes. But we had to come up here, Paul and I did, because now they have installed a little mini dog park, or I guess it could be for if you want to capture your children too. So whether it's two-legged or four-legged. And then, it looks like brand new.
Yeah, they just redid their playground.
So all of these are going to be townhomes, except for on the downslope. And then the Avon Park 2
Park 2 is all new townhouses that were built by Stanley Martin, with many of them having the 4th floor loft.
So that's what we're seeing right there. Yeah.
Yep, that gets you a nice view of the mountain.
What are the Avon Park and Avon Park 2s running now? This is a much smaller.
Detached, I was going to say your attached houses, they have some 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
That I've seen in the 4 range, probably a little on the I think I saw one that needed quite a bit of work.
Yeah,
that was in the high 3s. So I'm going to say most of them are going to be in the low 4s and up. And then the attached houses, some of those are really, really nice. And I've seen those into the 7s and 8s.
They're pretty big too.
Yeah, they are.
And they have unmatched and unrestricted views of
they're
mountain.
Deceptively big.
They're
and then
huge.
Avon Park 2 is all new construction that really over the course of the last about year and a half. Those were selling in the high 4s, low 5s, depending on if you had the 4th floor. But I would say any resales of those are going to be low 5s at the minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what we're seeing in Charlottesville. Is townhomes really are now starting. There's some one-offs.
Yeah.
But most townhomes, you're realistically looking at the very, very high 4s or low 5s as a starting point.
Yeah. And then here also.
Yeah, talk about the Biscuit Run.
So, yeah, on the other side of this row is the Biscuit Run Park, which we keep mentioning. Biscuit Run was originally supposed to be a 1,000-home community.
Yes, it was.
But when the real estate bust happened in the early 2000s, the developer donated the land to the state.
Donated.
Yeah, donated the land to the state. And then it was on the state budget to get developed year after year and kept getting cut. And then the county, Albemarle County, actually just signed, I think, a 99-year lease with the state, and they're starting to develop, and we've seen a lot of progress. They've actually broken ground on the parking lot and bathrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a public use park with bike trails, running, walking.
They're talking about soccer, a few soccer fields.
Look how gorgeous.
Probably some tennis courts, pickleball courts. There's a lot of development, and that's just phase 1.
Yeah, it's quite, I mean, a lot of people have been using it unofficially for years.
Oh, yes.
Especially in the running community and the mountain biking. Yeah, these again fall into that. I mean, it's Virginia, it's buyer beware, because between the siding, the plumbing, and just the age in general, it can be a great, now I was going to say, there's nothing, you're not going to like do anything extreme by any means. It's, you're not going to pimp it out because it's an HOA, it's an active HOA.
Well, one of the other...
But upkeep is getting a new roof, and this community actually has HOA include painting. I'm pretty sure because they just had a...
You know what, I actually think you're correct.
You think?
I am pretty sure.
Wow. Thank you for joining Paul in his last time ever coming on with me. You will miss him, but we'll find others.
One thing I will say that is important when you talk about wanting to make sure you have good advice is when you have new construction mixed in, like Avon Park 2, that sometimes will give people the opinion that their dated resale should be able to sell for the same amount as that brand new.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to navigate.
Because there's maintenance.
Difference.
I mean, not having rotted wood is maintenance. Not having windows that have busted seals so that they're all cloudy is maintenance. That's not, oh, I live here, therefore I'm gonna be able to get $600,000.
Yeah.
But it is pretty, so pretty.
It is. It's a quaint little neighborhood.
It is, but it is a small footprint, very small footprint. All right, and last but not least, where are we heading?
We're gonna end in Spring Hill Village.
Ooh, and I want to talk about the schools and the schlep factor, because I do love me some Wegmans. All right, Spring Hill Village, interesting. You have that, so this one has villas.
Villas and townhouses.
Villas and townhouses.
And this is their dog park.
Yeah, Avinity definitely has a better dog park.
Yeah, so.
But it's a dog park. But this is also by a quantity builder, and there has been some affordable housing, what would you call it, stipends?
So there's some houses that are under a land trust arrangement.
Yes.
But we're gonna have to make sure you don't take any pictures of kids.
I agree.
So in a lot of ways, Spring Hill Village is an attempt to recreate a vintage.
Yeah, it is. I've never been in here.
They have this pavilion, and they have a basketball goal, and then a nice playground, along with their smaller dog park.
And this is $128 a month.
Pretty close to Infinity.
So we're in Spring Hill Village. We're going around. It's a centrally located little pavilion, play area. These are all going to be attached homes, either townhomes. There are villas.
Including quite a bit of villas with basements.
Ooh.
A few of them, like you can see right there down that line.
Yes.
Those are villas with basements, which are a little bit more rare, mainly because the biggest factor for a villa is that it's single floor living.
True.
But the terrain dictates it, and a lot of people are looking for ones that have basements.
And there's the dog park.
There's the dog park.
It's very petite, but it's a dog park, so that's good. And what we were saying, runs $128 a month. This is
yeah, and it covers lawn care. Then some of the roads. The main road here is a public road, but all the little cul-de-sacs are private.
Probably the newest, because those were really being constructed in 2022.
Yep, in this area.
Only a couple years old.
Yep, the only thing newer is Avon Park.
Okay,
those were built because they were being sold. They were being built and sold at the same time they were finishing up. Spring Hill Village.
So Spring Hill Village is also, the prices I've seen have been between $250 all the way up to the $500s.
Yeah, but the $250, just to explain that, the $250 is part of what's called a land trust arrangement, which is an affordable housing program.
Yes.
So you have to be able to meet the qualifications on income level. There's income limitation.
It's strict. It's not you can just say something. You have to prove, and it's really almost it's a process.
Well, and it's also what's important to know about the land trust compared to some other programs is you're also required, when the time comes to sell, you're also required to sell to somebody meeting those recommendations. Or those requirements. So it is, with a lot of programs, you can get differing opinions on them.
Right, always.
But when you take that land trust arrangement out, which I believe is somewhere around 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking at prices similar to Avinity, high 4s into the mid to high 5s, and I would expect when some of those villas with basements come on, you'll be into the 6s.
And it's similar. It's $120 a month, but it includes all the
care. It does include lawn care.
So you don't have to worry about a lawnmower or dealing with any of that.
The playground, the pavilion, the dog park. And they also, with it being a newer neighborhood, they are in the process. There's a few homeowners that are trying to create more of a community feel with it.
Yeah, which is nice.
Which is nice. Just like we talked about with Mill Creek South.
Yeah.
How different it can be if just 1, 2, 3 homeowners start taking the initiative.
Well, thanks for coming with us today, Paul.
Well, thank you.
So we're going to drop you off, and then we're going to talk about, actually, you know what, before I let Paul go, because he lives in this community physically, has for 10 years. He is very experienced with the public school system. Let's talk about the schools real quick.
All right.
So the schools here are going to be Mountain View Elementary.
Mountain View.
Can be walked to by practically, not necessarily all, and depending how far, but like from here, from Avinity, you could walk, your children to or from Mountain View.
So Mountain View is literally next door to Avinity. So it's a very easy walk to Mountain View from Avinity.
And you love Mountain View.
Love Mountain View.
And the reason you wanted to be in Mountain View was because of the Spanish immersion.
So they have a Spanish immersion program. So both my daughters, one's about to finish 5th grade, the other one is now in 7th. But both of them have done language immersion through Mountain View since they were in kindergarten.
And
so both are pretty fluent in Spanish.
Nice. And that's not an extra fee. That's part of the Albemarle County curriculum.
There is a lottery to get into it because there has been such demand.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But the vast majority of people that want to get into it get into it.
Okay, and then middle school
is Walton Elementary, which is heading towards Scottsville. We really love Walton as well. The it's the most underutilized school in Albemarle County, meaning that the school can actually support a much larger student body than it has.
And according to niche.com, it is one of the top ranked schools in the area.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The principal, who by the way is named Mr. Walton, just a coincidence, they're fantastic. With the smaller student body, they really know all the students. My daughter has been able to get really involved in several clubs and student council and stuff of that nature. And then at the high school level, middle school, they're definitely taking a bus too. At the high school level, they go to Monticello High School,
just down the street,
which is walking distance but there's also buses that you pick up. So about half the high school students here walk to school, about half ride the bus.
Nice.
Another couple schools that are private, the Tandem School,
is down
Tandem
by
Friends
Monticello,
School, which is a very popular school. And then the Peabody School is also,
which is over by
near
the Mill
Foxcroft.
Creek, Foxcroft, Mill Creek area.
Yeah, so the community.
But the Peabody is for a much younger.
Yeah, Peabody is definitely.
And Tandem is for older.
I think Tandem starts at 6.
Yeah, so really you can go from one to the other if you decided to do the whole private school thing. But again, most people love, and of course, according to greatschools.com, according to niche.com, all of those, go look them up. Albemarle County schools in general rank very, very high within not only just the general area, but in the entire state. And it's a big draw because cost of living can be higher here, but if you're having to pay for a higher cost of living and you have to do a private school, but you don't have to, because we've got great schools.
Completely. So, and then the language immersion program is not offered at any other school.
I think that's a cool program.
It is. It's a very cool program. A very, very diverse school, which is what has led to the specialness of the language immersion program.
That's awesome. All right, Paul, I know you've got appointments. Right. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon, okay?
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I just pulled up. So we are on Mill Creek Road, and I wanted to talk about the schlep factor because, to me, it's all about if you need easy access, you should have it. So this is the light at Avon Street and Mill Creek. That's the light right there. Notice there is a gas station. This is one of the Market gas stations. Really, really great food, phenomenal sandwiches. In addition to easy access gas, you have a bank, and then coming the other way, there is a Goodwill store, and then you have access to a Food Lion right here. And around the corner from Food Lion is actually, you're going to find a veterinarian. I believe there's an orthodontist. Paul was sharing with me that there is also a new Thai food place coming. And then looking down this way, and we're going to drive down here, that is you can sort of see the leaderboard down there. That gives you access to Monticello High School and Tandem Friends School. The other thing that's down there is actually one of the Albemarle County's fire and rescue buildings to make sure that they have quick access to all the houses. So schlep factor, hello, 10 out of 10. Going that way, you're going to be in downtown Charlottesville in like 2 miles. Going the other way, if you go south, you'll be in Scottsville in about 15 minutes, but you can go right or left and be going over to Monticello High School or going over to the next place, which is actually going to be the 5th Street Station. I wanted to show y'all. So let's go. So right now I am standing in the middle of, is 5th Street Station. This is one of our newest shopping areas, and it's because this entire zone is just growing exponentially. There's everything from Planet Fitness to Krispy Kreme. I see Centera Medical Centers, Jersey Mike's, T-Mobiles, One of my favorite restaurants, which you have to try if you're in town, is called Al Carbone, Alcarbon, Al Carbone. There's one on the north end as well. It's Peruvian, and the shrimp tacos are to die for. There's Dick, Public Lands, Haverty's Furniture. That is all in this area. Wegmans is over my shoulder, and it's actually my go-to. So from my house, which is on the 29 North corridor, to Wegmans, again, like 15 minutes. So it's not that big of a deal. So if you are living over in one of the neighborhoods that is tucked over behind here, then you are less than 5 minutes away. Here's the other thing I want you to know. I often talk about the public transportation. Charlottesville Area Transit actually does service and have stops. So there are banks here, and there's just a lot of variety in the 5th Street station. So thanks for joining me today. It was wonderful to have Paul. I'm so happy he was able to join us. His knowledge of that area, spending the past 10 years. And honestly, I loved getting the view, for you to get the view of somebody else. I'm raised here. I've been here since, beginning of time. Paul, though, is just like you. He relocated here after he was retired out of the military. So give me a call, shoot me a text, drop me an email, let me know. We'll connect, and we'll see if living in Charlottesville is right for you. And now we know maybe to add the south side of Charlottesville onto your short list when moving and living in Charlottesville. Until next time, thanks, and I'll talk to you soon.